Well, hello, everybody, and thanks for tuning in this week. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. My guest's internet crashed just before we came on, so she's trying to get things back up and running. But until then, I figured now would be a good time to just kind of relax and just talk about some cool things. Because hey, we're live here on air anyways, so why don't we just talk about some really special things, and about how we can navigate through the modern day times. And one of the things that my show is always about is about people's stories. And one of the things that I do know for a fact is that we can manage our story and how we respond to the world around us. And like I mentioned, I definitely want to bring my guest on, and as soon as she comes on, we'll switch over to having a conversation with her. But since the show has to go on, we're going to just continue on this subject. And one of the things that I've been teaching for many years, not just in my spiritual world or in my but also in my corporate world, is that the world, no matter what, is always going to have things that it's going to throw curveballs at us. It's going to go throw stuff at us that causes us to have reactions, or that makes us have a bad day. There's going to be things that are going to make us go, wait a second, I don't know how I'm going to be able to make it through this day. But one of the things we have to do is we have to be super diligent in those times to allow ourselves to be grateful, and also to look at the story that we're telling ourselves at the time when things are happening. And so, let's give you an example. If you go into work and something happens at work, and your boss is not being nice to you, or you got written up for something that it wasn't your fault, or whatever it is, your spouse and you have an argument, somebody's pushing your button, and really just getting to you. You go onto social media and you're like, man, what is going on in the world? Everybody's arguing. And those are things that, if we know that the law of attraction, or attraction, creates for us, or we create the world around us, and it responds to our thoughts and feelings and energy, and that with which we put out there comes back tenfold, then why not in those moments look at those things? Don't just brush them under the rug, because those programs are still running in the background. But instead of those, be diligent and take that time to be grateful. Think about the things that you are grateful for. I'm grateful that I woke up this morning. I'm grateful that I have air in my lungs. I am grateful for the fact that I have love in my life. I'm grateful. And if you don't have any of those things, there's a story that I love, and it's from an author named Catherine Ponder. And she said, if you can't find anything grateful to be grateful about, then just be grateful for, if your finger moves correctly, be grateful for that. And then my guest is here on coming on in the back. She's on the backstage, so I'm just going to introduce her. Pearl is somebody that I have known for many years, and one of the things that I talk about being grateful, because Pearl is actually somebody that I am grateful for. In a time when I was very broken, I went into her store. This is when her store first opened up, and she gave me a chance. And there was a time where Pearl and I were the only ones in her store. She would be working around her store, and I'd be sitting on the couch. We were waiting for people to come in, and I was doing readings in her store. And like I mentioned, at that time, she gave me a chance, and it was also a chance for me to just work on myself, because we had a lot of quiet time and we talked a lot. But for that, I'll forever be grateful. And we're going to talk about her store, Mystikal Scents. But I want to bring to the show, Pearl. And hi, Pearl. How are you? You're back on.
Hi there.
So I'm very excited about having you come on, because I was just mentioning that it was about 2007 that we met. So it's been about 15 years. It was right after the store opened.
I'm having a lot of technical difficulties here, because I couldn't hear hardly anything you said.
Okay.
Speak now.
Oh, I was
there
saying
you go.
that I was saying we've known each other for about 14 years.
Yes.
Because I met you right after your store opened. And I think your store opened in the end of 2006. Am I correct?
Correct. 2006. We're actually getting ready to celebrate our 15th year.
Wow.
15 years in business. That's just awesome.
That is awesome, especially for spiritual metaphysical stores in the Tampa Bay area. They tend to be around for a couple of years and then they're not around. And so
Yeah.
when so what got you started in this business, or not, or in your spiritual path, I guess, even?
Well, the mainstream religions were no longer really working for me. They weren't, um, I wasn't getting the messages that I needed, so I was looking for something else. Happened to be walking in the Big Top flea market one day and came across a little pagan shop. Immediately, I just had this feeling like I was in the right place. And I asked the gentleman working there, for a good book that I could maybe learn some. And he gave me the Green Witchcraft by Anne Mora. It was a
Mm.
3-book series, and I just loved it. I would go to the park on my lunch hour and I would read it, and I would get all these goosebumps all over me, and I would just be like, oh, this is it. I know I'm doing the right thing with this. And it just progressed from there. I ended up opening up, or actually buying out, someone's booth at the flea market, and that was really my start. They had a little tiny booth that was 10 by 10, and I had incense and gemstones and a few other little burners and stuff like that, incense burners. And um, really got the start. And then I was able to get a very large sum of money from my father, who helped me get the shop, the money for that. And, got him paid off, and then kind of lived through the lean years of 2012, which was very close. It almost got me. And then to now, COVID has actually been amazing. We've really done very well in spite of COVID. Um,
I think we're losing our guest. Her internet. She had to reset it. So hopefully we'll bring her back on here in a second. But she went out while we're waiting for her to come back on. We have been talking about this, and some of you out there, a lot of you are coaches and healers and stuff that watch this show, and a lot of people have brought this up, that during COVID, spiritual coaching businesses, spiritual centers, and that really have boomed. And one of the things I think is that people are really looking. Well, first of all, they've been stuck in home. They haven't been able to go out as much. They just don't want to go out. During the lockdown, a lot of people spent a lot of time being quiet. And so because they were quiet, they were able to spend some time getting to know themselves on a deeper level. And they knew that there was some nourishment that they needed, and they knew that they were seeking, and they were looking for something deeper. And one of the things I know is that my business, my healing and coaching business is gotten a lot bigger as a result of this time. And so it's really, if you're out there watching this show, or if you find something and you're looking for something, you're looking for answers. First of all, the answers are within you. That we have all those answers, and that's something but there's nothing wrong with having somebody that's a guide. And what Mystical Sense has done in Tampa is provided a safe place for people to meet. And I have a lot of friends, including my friend Jason Adelac out of Denver, who's going to be teaching at Mystical Sense. He's going to be coming into town, teaching there at some point. But it doesn't have to be a place. Just find community. And shows like this and shows on the Los Angeles Tribune and other shows build community. And there's places like this all over social media. But it's important, even in COVID times, to find that group that you can connect with on just more than just a show level. If you don't want to go to your house, there's Zoom meetings. I'm getting ready to start to work with the Sarasota Center of Light. They're actually going to be doing Zoom meetings where we're going to do armchair conversations and stuff like that. But there's also the social aspect of it. We need to have to be social with people of like mind. We cannot feel like we're doing things alone. And even though we do have spirit that is there with us to guide us, and that inner voice that's there to guide us, it's also good to be able to connect with and process with people of like mind. because as we all know, it doesn't matter if it's spiritual or if it's something else. If there is a thing that happens within us that as we start changing, our friends and people around us, they think we're crazy. You can just be your super positive and you weren't very positive, and now everybody thinks you're nuts. And there's a lot of things that because we change as people, the dynamics of the people around us change. And so community is very, very important. And that's one thing that people out there that are they say I'm a loner, and a lot of times they say they're loners because they haven't found that tribe that they can connect with. And so it's super important for us to find that tribe of people we can connect with. And that tribe can change, of course, over time, but it's really something that we want to have. And Pearl's back on the line, so we're going to bring her back on.
Whew,
And
I didn't think I was going to make it.
we're just rocking and rolling here. We're getting it going. So
this thing's just
no
giving me
worries.
some trouble tonight.
Well, you were talking about your father had just given you a large sum of money, and then you paid him off in 2012. Was a hard year, but through COVID, and that's where we lost you. That things got better or are going good. Yeah, I think that Mo, Rock, and I had this problem probably 3 months ago. We tried our hardest for about 15 to 20 minutes to do the show, and it just wasn't working out. But what we'll do is I'll get Pearl back on the line at another time, and we'll reschedule her. If we don't get this working, we'll try maybe, if she comes back on one more time, we'll try that. And if it doesn't work out, then we'll reschedule her. But what I want to share with you is a message of hope for everybody out there. And there's been a lot of things that have happened, and that's what I was meaning about being grateful earlier. And so just know that as you have hope and as you have an understanding that all things are going to be taken care of. And so some of you out there might be having a really, really hard time right now. And what I want you to do is I want you to look back at your life, that even though things seem very, very hard right now, I want you to look back at your life, and I want you to think about, has there ever been a time, like, I'll give an example. My mom and I went through this experience probably 2009. The house we lived in, that was the family property, was going through a foreclosure. When we had to go through this area, because that's a huge thing. This was my grandmother's property. My mother felt like she had failed. There was all these emotions around that. And so yeah, Linda doesn't allow me to do it without video. So Zoom lets me do that, but StreamYard does not let me do that, unfortunately. But we'll definitely get it all worked out. And so, but going back to what I was saying about my mother and I, we went through foreclosing this property, and we lost the property. And what it did, seemed like it was the worst thing in the world. But then it freed my mother up to go up to Minnesota and spend over a year with her brothers and her sisters and her niece and nephews, and to get to know them better. And then she came back down here, spent 7 months with me, and then she transitioned in spirit. So if she wouldn't have had that, letting go of that, she wouldn't have been able to do that part necessarily. And then she had to. So what ends up happening, why I'm saying that is that things happen exactly the way they're supposed to. There's always a reason for something. And so, hi, Pearl.
Hi there.
Hi. I said to them, if she comes back, we'll try one more time, and then if that doesn't work out, we'll reschedule, and then maybe I'll come down to the store.
I saw a repair truck on my way home. That must be for us or something. I'm not sure.
I did this 3 months ago. I was on with the owner of the Los Angeles Tribute. He was my guest, and for some reason, either his internet or my internet kept on going out. We finally were just like, we'll reschedule.
Yeah, but it might have to happen that way this time too. We'll see. Let's do it while it's happening.
Let's do it while it's happening. So you were talking about right now COVID's doing well.
Right. And it has been, it's just now starting to taper off a little bit, but things are getting back to normal as much as possible. So I think that's why. But we always have our ups and downs in business, like Metaphysical. You just never know.
Yeah, Metaphysical is it definitely is. It has its ups and downs, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Yeah. Well, it has cycles. People let Mercury retrograde happen, and you'll get a lot of people come in because they want to fix everything.
Or doing contracts with anybody during
yeah, it's always a scary thing. But things are they are picking up in this genre, this business, because people are starting to try to figure out what they're doing in this world, what's their life about, and because we had that time where we were all down and we were all home. I mean, down being we weren't working, and we were all home, and what else do you have to think of? But where are we going in life? What are we doing with ourselves? And I think people turn to spirituality. They want something that's going to work for them. And, I just don't know that the mainstream religions are kind of the same powerhouse of, it seems like a lot of people are looking for something else, is what I'm saying,
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, because even the metaphysical churches where they were packed a few years ago, they're not even as busy, but they're turning to places like, Mystical Scents or spiritual centers where they can go, where it's a different way of doing things. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah. And that's what I was saying when you were down at one point and said, we need community, because I think people are having different experiences too. Us, like their intuition's kicking in. It was there, but they're recognizing it more. Healing, they're seeing healings happen, and they're like, "Wow, what is going on?" It's not what we were told. Not what we were told. So I think that's really cool. So that's really awesome. So you mentioned 2012 was a really hard time, and I know that as long as I've known you, you've had ups and downs, and in the very beginning you had. I know there was times where you were like, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to stay open. What got you through those times? Like what kept you pushing forward?
Perseverance. Simple perseverance. That, and knowing that I was actually helping the community. People were coming to me to help find answers to their life, and for no other reason, just to stay on to help people. That was a big part of why I do what I do. Being a life coach, you know how that feels when somebody has an aha moment and you help them to get there. It's very rewarding in itself, in addition to what they're getting out of it. So I do things for the community. I love the religion that I practice, which is Wicca. I'm very in tune with nature, but I'm also, I know there's a lot of magic in the world and in what we do every day. And it's really good sometimes to be able to share that with other people, especially people who are looking for something to work for them, not just tell them that they're terrible people and bad and they're going to go to hell. And, you do it because of the people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think too, as we grow as people, I was just talking about this with my family over the weekend. I think as we're of service, there was a time when I was of service with people, but there was still that ego there that was like, man, I'm just trying to help them out. Why are they being so difficult? But then you grow from that. And I think, would you agree that as we grow, our community grows with us too? And
yes,
we're changing people just by them watching us and us watching them too. We become just as much their students, and
yes.
So yeah.
Well, I'm a big believer in be the change you want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gandhi said that was a powerful statement that he said.
It sure was.
But if that's been a principle that's been around for a while,
Yeah. But I think a lot of people are trying to be that example. They are trying to change their world by changing who they are. I see that all the time. People are trying to change. They are trying to do things that are more energy efficient, more eco-friendly, better for the environment, better for themselves. I know a lot of people are trying to eat a lot healthier, which is even that much more harder in our world today because of the nutrient loss in the soil. I mean, so people have to work harder at what they're doing.
That is actually true. I'm actually, I don't know if it was a good thing, but I'm doing a 14-day detox.
Oh, very good.
So, but it's during COVID, I wasn't going out as much and eating as much.
Yeah.
I'm a single guy. I go out a lot. And during that time frame, I started cooking, and partially out of sheer boredom, but also just because that was the only option other than Uber Eats, and that wasn't something I wanted to do every day. And so I think that what happened is that made us sit. I know, obviously, the pandemic and all that other kind of stuff, that's a whole other conversation. But I think in some ways it was good for a lot of people. And also, I don't know if you felt this, but it even changed our perspective on how we see the world.
Yes.
Especially, yeah.
I agree. I think we all had a big eye opening, not just an awakening, but we saw so many things in a different light. And I think it changed a lot of us. I mean, not everybody, but it sure did change a lot of people. It changed me. It made me look at things different in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was always and you know this because you've known me a while. I was always a go 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 go, and now I'm like, and then now that I'm working at home, and I'll probably never go back into an office, but I also have spent a lot of quiet time by myself and
Yeah.
and there's a lot of things I'm getting done that I would never got done because I was constantly going out and doing. And so, I mean, that's a sense where I think that's a real benefit. So, everybody, I want to. I'm going to put Pearl's website up on the screen, and one of the things you can do, you don't have to live in Tampa to do business with Mystical Scents. You can actually go to her site and you can order online, because I actually checked out products the other day when I was setting this up. And you can actually set up appointments with her readers as well, or with Pearl herself. There's plenty of place to book coaching with her.
I even do Zoom. So if somebody wanted a counsel, I could always do it over Zoom too.
Yeah. Yeah. And Zoom is the best.
Yeah. That or Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. So now let's go and kind of dive into some of the things that are at Mystical Scents. I mean, one of the things that started off everybody is, I'll let Pearl talk more about this, is that she's, like she mentioned, she started off, it's called Mystical Scents for a reason, because she started off selling, incense and stuff like that. But it's so much more than that, and the vision was so much bigger than that. And there's a tree there that Pearl and I have a joke about that I helped build. I didn't really, but that was always my joke.
Yeah, he folded like maybe 2 pieces of paper, but he built the tree. Yeah. Gosh, I forgot about all that.
Well, yeah, because we had that little area, and then you built it looks like a tree, but it's just made out of newspaper. And then she actually took tree branches from, there were, in the park that were, I think, down, and she painted them, or not painted them, she treated them to where they actually look like it. It's beautiful. And so it's really just a gorgeous place. But let's talk about what Mystical Scents offers. Obviously, it's part of the community. It's a place where people can come and gather and learn. What other things does Mystical Scents offer?
Well, right now, we're not offering very many classes, but we offer almost any kind of class that's religious in the sense of pagan or Wicca. We offer healing classes. Right now we're doing a tarot class. We're having a Reiki class come up, but not very many classes this year because, we're just trying to get started back into the classes. We're going to possibly do our 15th year anniversary online. Maybe some in the store, but maybe some online too. I'm not sure, because we get such a big crowd, and I don't want to be that super spreader. So we have to
Yeah,
be real
yeah.
careful on that. But the store offers so many things. Ritual needs, anything ritualistic that you would do, we would probably have that available for you. We do Wicca. Uh, that's what we practice, but we have a lot of Wicca supplies. But we have some of the other ones. I mean, there's any kind of witchcraft is the best way to sum that up. We're a very big witchcraft store. Probably one of the biggest ones in the Tampa Bay area completely. And we offer everything: books, clothing, jewelry. We just had a huge jewelry sale. Incense, that's how I started out. We were selling, maybe about 50 different incense flavors. I think right now we've got up to 150 different
Wow.
ones. Yeah.
Wow.
We have health and beauty, natural products, um, books, gemstones, gemstones, and gemstones, crystals. We have just so many of those right now. I love buying them. So there's a lot in the store, in the store. Um, Gosh, anything you could think of: statues, athames, robes, all the witchy stuff is all there. Candles and herbs, teas, all of that. So it's a pretty big line of product.
Yeah, I remember mom had a couple dresses from your from your store and
Yeah,
she
I was
wore to the
thinking
rest.
about her the other day.
Yeah, yeah, she's been popping in. People have been calling me and saying, I felt like your mom was around me, or I thought about her, and that's a really cool feeling to hear. But yeah, this is a story, and honestly, um, probably I don't know of any other store. I mean, there's obviously some stores, metaphysical stores in the area, but I don't know of any other pagan store in Tampa Bay proper, other than you. I don't,
There's
there's
a few of them. They're smaller, but they're
yeah,
still there, and they're doing well.
good,
Um, but there's just a very couple. I mean, not very many at all.
yeah,
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 but most of them are metaphysical as opposed to a full-blown witchcraft,
right.
But we're good witches. We
Well,
we
that's one of
try hard to do, things like healing and money spells, or health spells, things like that. We just don't do a lot of. We're not into the hexing and the darker magic stuff like that.
Well, that would make sense. And so that's one of the things that a lot of people really they hear even still today on. But I think that people are a lot more open-minded than they were even 20 years ago. I mean, 20 years ago, if I would have said pendulum, people have been like, "What?"
Yeah, yeah.
And these days, these days, you bring and you talk about, love, witchcraft. You talk about healing. Um, I remember I was watching a video from the Donahue show from the '81, and the guests were talking about healing. They were just talking about energy healing, and the audience, of course, Donahue set things up to be over dramatic, obviously, but they were talking about that was just really evil, and I'm like, healing is evil, but it's just because people just didn't understand. And I think stores like yours and the work that all of us have done have really opened people's eyes up to more. But still, sometimes I bring stuff like that up, and you can just feel their energy kind of pull back, and I'm like, you just
Yeah,
got to be a good witch.
that's been one real important thing to me, is to be able to tell people what we're really about, and to dispel the myth of what we're not. We don't go out there and we don't hex people. I don't eat babies. Um, we don't sacrifice cats or animals, things like that. We actually help the community. We help people. We're a safe haven for people who feel threatened in any way. They can always come into Mystical Scents, and we're going to protect them. You know, we're a place you can come and people are not going to judge you. That's one important thing. And we're a place where you can go and meet like-minded people, a place where you can find the things that you're looking for that resonate with your highest good. And that's what you'll find at our shop.
So Wicca is one religion in the pagan realm.
Correct.
And what I mean, I know what it is, but for the audience, what does Wicca stand for?
What does it stand for?
Yeah.
You mean
Doesn't it stand for White Witch, or Wicca stand for White Witch?
Well, so White Witch, Gray Witch, Green Witch, those
Gotcha.
are all attributes of what you might like to practice in witchcraft. So Wicca is more of a sympathetic magic. It's, in other words, you might use a candle and you might put intention into that candle for something specific. So it's easier to say we're Wicca, where a lot of people think Wicca is like a lot of foo-foo. It's not really the stronger magic. We don't usually hex people. We're usually more of the light bubbly, let's fix this through, you know, lighting a candle for you, that type of thing. We might do spell work. We might create oils and herbs and teas and tinctures and things like that to help heal you. But the stronger, harder magic, that's usually not what we're into. But it's a good foundation for those other magics. That's what people don't understand. And to me, Wicca is something that everybody does almost every single day, and they don't even know it. Simply like wishing somebody a happy birthday and blowing out candles is magic. And it's something that they don't even think about doing. So, you know, Wicca to me is more in line with nature. That's what I would say it is, more than anything at all, whether it's white or gray or green or blue or psychedelic color. It's really your intentions toward what you're doing. I'm more of a healer. I like to create things that you can use in your spell working and sell those things. And I make a lot of those type of things when I have the time. Actually, I need to be doing some of that. But, you know, it's good stuff that we do, and it's working with the energies around you, working with the energies of the crystals, working with the energies of the herbs and the oils to affect your outcome, what you're trying to obtain. And if that's bad, you know, then we definitely need to readdress what the word bad means, because right now there are so many people coming into the store buying stones because they now have figured out, you know, it's like the internet's finally caught up with the fact that gemstones can offer energy. You know, TikTok, you got to love that, because boy, did we ever sell some moldavite and some carnelian and, you know, just and up, and they're like hot items, and then I'm running out of them and people are begging me for them. So we try to educate people on all of the stones, and you know, they're all very good for you, and you just got to find the right one for you, and really it finds you more than you finding it. So come up there and come see what we have to offer, because there's a lot that can be done for people in a more energetic way than just, you know, being told that you're going to go to hell.
Yeah, I agree, and that's something that I think is really positive, that I found in my journey. That, you know, that whole fire and brimstone stuff is not a thing. It doesn't have to be. But yeah, crystals. Funny story. I went to a friend of mine's house a couple months ago. He doesn't believe in anything. Like, he just, if he can't see it, if he can't prove it with science, he doesn't believe in it. There's crystals all over his house. I'm like, where do you get all these crystals? Oh, I love how I vibe with them, and it's really cool. And I like the energy off of this. And I'm like, when did you start? And it just tells me that something's changing, and him, and he's seeing something, whether he admits it or not. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, I agree with you. I see a lot of things that people are doing, and or even people will say, I saw this. They'll call me freaked out. And they're like, I saw these lights move across my living room, but there was no lights there.
That's funny.
And it is
I
fun.
think
But,
people are starting to wake up, you know. They're starting to see that there's something else there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, if you have your 15-year anniversary online, I want to be a part of it. But if it's local,
Well,
if it's actually in the
by all
store, let me know.
means.
Yeah, I would love to come in the store if it's there or whatever. Just let me know, and I'll be a part of it. And I think is Jason Anelak, is he coming into town soon to speak at?
I don't know if he's coming yet. I know he was supposed to be, but I don't know if it was going to be in time for the festival.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to him because he and I are talking about and another friend of ours are talking about a Spain retreat for next year. So I'm pretty excited about that. So for other things for you, what else is going on? Like, we'll wrap up here in the next few minutes, but is there anything else for you personally that anything you're going to be teaching or any travels or anything you're going to be doing for you?
No, it's been really just trying to keep the store going right now because we've been actually so busy. I've just been focusing on that. And we have a reader, Miss Joe. She's getting ready to come back into the store. So I'm getting her space ready. Um, Me personally, no. I'm just doing everything I can do to keep up, really.
I understand. I
Yeah.
understand that. And then I guess
The
my
festival is the biggest thing that we're working on right now.
and that's October, right?
Right, October the 30th.
Okay. Very, very cool. Yeah, so I'll definitely have to I'll have to keep in contact with you to make sure I know when that is. Excuse me. Especially if it's online, we can advertise to the people that watch the show.
Oh,
Um,
wonderful. Yeah, I might have to get with you and pick your brain soon.
yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. It'd be a lot of
Yeah.
fun. So, um, I guess the last question I want to ask you, is there anything that you would like to leave the viewers that, just any last minute piece of wisdom that you would like to leave them?
Oh my gosh. Um, Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself more than anything else you can ever try to believe in the world because you are the only one that can make the things happen for your life. Believe in yourself. That's
Excellent.
yes.
That's a good one. It's a good one. Thank you so much, Pearl, for coming on the show, and I'm sure we'll have you on in the future, and we won't have any technical difficulties, or maybe I should just travel down to the store. Last week I traveled and had a friend of mine do a crystal bowl, singing bowl demonstration. That was a lot of fun. So maybe we'll have that sometime soon. But for everybody watching, this show will be on the LA Tribune's Roku TV. So it's LA Tribune TV on Roku. So you just have to find that app and watch it there. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I had a reschedule for my guest next week, so I will be probably playing a replay of Amika Swami from What the Bleep Do We Know next week that I interviewed several years ago. So I'll be doing that as a repeat for next week, but I'm sure you'll all really enjoy it. And then I have my friend Rashmi Kilnani coming on at the end of the month. So lots of cool people coming on. And Pearl, thank you so much for being on the show. And
Jeremy, thank you, and thank you for being so patient with my technical difficulties. And I would love to come back on the show anytime.
yeah, I definitely will have you. And everybody, love you all. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll be back next Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. Much love.